Hello and welcome to another video from home. Today on A Vogel Talks Menopause, I'm going to be talking about 5 common vitamin and mineral deficiencies in the menopause. If you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and remember to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all my new videos. We know that the menopause takes a lot of energy from us, and that energy needs feeding from the food that we eat. So if our diet is not particularly good, if we're not looking after ourselves well enough, or if there are issues, things like stress, that are burning up all the extra nutrition that we get, then these deficiencies can show up in specific symptoms in the menopause. So I'm going to talk about 5 of them today, really important ones, what symptoms they can give and what you can do to help yourself with them. So number 1 is calcium. Calcium is vital for our bones. It's really a very important mineral for this, and we know that during menopause one of the main symptoms can be bone loss such as osteoporosis. Other low calcium symptoms can be things like numbness and tingling. It can be muscle cramps. You can get lethargy, fatigue. You just don't feel like doing anything, and you can end up with weak nails and nails that are breaking a lot. The amount of calcium that you need in your diet if you're over 50 is roughly 1,200 milligrams a day. The best foods that you can get these from, now there's a huge list and I'm not going to go through them all, but the main foods that are nicely high in calcium are things like your dark green leafy vegetables. So that would be things like your cabbages and spinach and curly kale and cauliflower and broccoli. It's your nuts and seeds. It can be tofu or soya if you're vegetarian or vegan. It can be small fish where you eat the bones, things like sardines. It can be fortified foods. Very often bread and cereals will be fortified with calcium. Dairy foods are fine in moderation, but they are high in fat. So I don't recommend that you rely on these for your calcium intake, but it's certainly fine just to have a small amount on a daily basis. Number 2 is magnesium. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, you know how much I really go on and on about magnesium. But again, it's another really important one. If you're low in magnesium, again, you're going to get muscle cramps. There is anxiety, there is low mood swings, palpitations. Your sleep can be disrupted, and you can also get tingling in pins and needles. The dose that you're looking at, again, for over 50s is about 320 milligrams a day. However, I feel for the majority of menopausal women, your magnesium needs to go sky high, and there is no reason in most instances why you can't actually go a little bit higher than that one. Oh, one other symptom with low magnesium is headaches. Foods you can eat are your dark green leafy vegetables, your nuts and seeds, pulses, so that's things like beans and lentils. Avocados are great. And for those of you who are vegetarian or vegan, you've got tofu and you've got whole grains as well. Number 3 is vitamin D. More and more research is coming out about how important vitamin D is for us during the menopause. So low vitamin D is going to affect your mood. It's going to affect your bones. It's also going to contribute to fatigue, joint pain, low immune function, which is really interesting, and hair loss can be another symptom of low vitamin D. The amount that you need, now in normal circumstances we would recommend about 400 IU a day to be taken ongoing. This is a safe low dose that you can take for as long as you need to. If you have been prescribed a higher dose by your practitioner or your doctor, then obviously you follow that. But we do not recommend that you go on a high dose vitamin D if you have not had your vitamin D levels tested, because research is now coming out showing that very high levels of vitamin D ongoing can cause certain side effects and is not going to be beneficial for you at all. So it's really important here that you don't knowingly overdose on vitamin D if you don't need it. Foods rich in vitamin D, there's not a lot, unfortunately, because our main source of vitamin D is having it manufactured in our skin when we're out in sunlight. But foods that you can eat to help would be things like mushrooms, your dairy products such as your butter, milk and cheese, but again, don't rely on those especially for that, eggs and your fatty fishes. Number 4 is zinc. This is another important one. Low levels of zinc can affect your taste and smell. Low levels of zinc can also cause low immunity. It can cause hair loss. You can end up with that kind of apathy where you just can't be bothered with anything at all. And we know too that zinc is really important for the production of hormones. So just when we need more, very often we're deficient in our diet. So foods for zinc are your nuts and seeds, your red meat, your beans, chickpeas, certain fruits and avocados. You can also check out our Balance, which is a mineral drink, which has calcium, magnesium, zinc, vitamin D and potassium in it. For normal vitamin zinc supplements, you're looking at about 15 milligrams per day. That's normally considered a good safe dose to take ongoing. And the last one, but not least, are your B vitamins. Low B vitamins can affect your memory and concentration, can cause fatigue, you can get digestive problems, you can get anxiety, and it can also cause pins and needles. So the amount you're looking at on a daily basis would be, I usually recommend what's called a vitamin B 50 milligram complex, which has a nice general level of a combination of vitamin Bs so that you're not missing out on any particular one. Foods high in your B vits are your grains, your pulses, it can be red meat, it can be beans and lentils, it can be nuts and seeds, and your dark green leafy vegetables and certain fruits as well. So as you can see from all these 5 deficiencies that can occur, a lot of the foods that you eat contain a range of them. So in your diet, if you can try and incorporate on a regular basis your nuts and seeds, your dark green leafy vegetables, the occasional avocado, and grains, whole grains, small amount of whole grains, and just a small amount of dairy if you are not vegan. If so, then you can certainly look at tofu. And this range of food, if you incorporate in your daily diet, will give you a nice mix of all 5 of these nutrients that you need on a daily basis. So I hope this has given you food for thought. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is not a comprehensive list. If you don't fancy any of the foods that I've talked about, then all you need to do is Google for calcium rich foods or magnesium rich foods and a whole long list will come up. So have some happy Googling, and I will see you next time for another video from home.